Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to English in Fluency. I'm your host, Alex, and I am so happy you have chosen to spend some of your valuable time with me today. It truly means the world to me that we can connect in this way, across distances and time zones, to share a space of learning and reflection. Here, we don't just learn English, we experience it. We explore big ideas and meaningful stories, all in clear, simple English that helps you build confidence and fluency. Whether you are walking your dog through a park, driving on a busy highway, cooking a meal for your family, or maybe just sitting quietly with a warm cup of tea, this podcast is designed to be your companion, a friendly voice to help you improve your listening skills and perhaps think a little more deeply about the beautiful journey of life. Just the other day, I had a very small experience with this. I was at a bookstore, and I had a gift card I needed to use. My logical mind, immediately started scanning the shelves for a practical book, something on business or productivity that I felt I should read. I picked up a very sensible-looking book, and my mind said, "Yes, this is a smart choice. This will help you be more efficient." But as I held it, my heart felt nothing. It was a cold, logical decision. Then, my eyes landed on a different book. It was a collection of poetry about nature. It had a beautiful cover, and it was completely impractical. My mind immediately said, "Don't buy that. When will you have time to read poetry? It's not useful." But when I picked it up, my heart felt a little spark of joy, a feeling of peace, and in that small moment, I had to choose the logical choice or the joyful one. I chose the poetry. And every time I look at it on my shelf, my heart feels that little spark again. It was a small decision, but it reminded me of our topic today. We are going to explore a beautiful and sometimes mysterious idea. The idea that the heart knows the truth better than the mind. Now, that might sound like a very big or complicated thought, but please, don't worry. We will walk through it together, step by step, using simple words and relatable stories. My goal is for you to understand every part of our conversation today, and to feel more comfortable and confident with your English by the end of our time together. This is an especially important conversation to have in our modern world. Here in the United States, and in many places around the globe, we are taught to value data, logic, and efficiency above all else. We are encouraged to make decisions based on numbers and facts, and to ignore the messy, unpredictable world of feelings. But this way of living can sometimes leave us feeling empty, disconnected from ourselves, and from what truly matters. This conversation is an invitation to come back to a more balanced way of being. So, what do we really mean when we say the heart knows the truth better than the mind? In our daily lives, we are often taught to trust our minds. Our minds are incredible tools. They are logical. They analyze. They make plans and solve problems. We use our minds to study for a test, to decide which product to buy, or to figure out the fastest way to get to a new place. The mind loves facts, numbers, and clear reasons. But have you ever had a feeling, a deep feeling inside you that you just couldn't explain? A feeling that told you something was true, even when you had no facts to support it? That powerful, quiet feeling. That is the voice of your heart. This is a topic that is important for everyone, no matter what country you are from or what language you speak. We all have a thinking mind, and we all have a feeling heart. And very often, these two parts of us seem to disagree. Your heart might be pulling you in one direction, saying, "Yes, this is it. Go for it," while your mind is pulling you in the opposite direction, whispering, "No, wait, that's not logical. It's too risky. What if you fail?" This internal conflict, this pull between feeling and thinking, is a universal human experience. How do we know which voice to listen to? Which one is telling us the real truth? That is the question we will explore today. We will talk about what the heart really is when we speak about it in this way. Not the physical organ that pumps blood, but the center of our emotions, our values, and our intuition. And we will talk about the mind, not just the brain in our head, but our inner voice of logic, reason, and sometimes our deepest fears. We will look at how the heart can often guide us to a deeper truth, a truth that the mind, with all its wonderful abilities, sometimes cannot see. This episode is also a special opportunity for you to practice your English listening and comprehension. Here at English in Fluency, we believe that the best way to learn a language is by using it to explore interesting topics. This podcast is created specifically for learners around the B1 level. This means you already have a good foundation in English. And now you are ready to build more confidence and understand more natural, flowing conversation. Listening to long-form audio like this is one of the most effective ways to train your ear. It helps you get used to the natural rhythm and intonation of spoken English. You start to recognize how words connect and flow together in a sentence, which is very different from reading them in a textbook. So don't worry if you don't catch every single word. The goal is to relax and let the language wash over you, to understand the main ideas, and to feel the emotion of the stories. You can use this time to just listen and absorb the language. Or, if you want an extra challenge, you can try to pause the podcast and repeat some of the sentences out loud. This is a fantastic way to improve your own pronunciation and speaking rhythm. So, let's get comfortable and open our minds and our hearts. Let's begin this journey together to understand why we sometimes say that the heart knows the truth better than the mind. Stay with me as we explore this powerful and emotional topic, one simple idea at a time. First, to truly understand our topic today, we need to talk about what we mean by the heart and the mind. These words are more than just parts of our body. They are symbols for two different ways we experience the world. Think of them as two advisors living inside you. Each one gives you advice, but they speak different languages and focus on different things. Understanding these two advisors is the first step to knowing when to listen to each one. Let's start with the heart. When we talk about the heart in this way, we are not talking about the organ in your chest. We are talking about the part of you that feels. It's the source of your emotions, your joy, your sadness, your love, your anger, and your excitement. It is the part of you that connects with other people, with music, with art, and with nature on a deep, emotional level. The heart doesn't operate on facts and data. It operates on feelings, sensations, and something we call intuition. What is intuition? Intuition is a very special kind of knowing. It's that gut feeling you get. It's when you know something without knowing how you know it. There is no logical path, No list of reasons. There is just a quiet, certain feeling. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are meeting someone for the first time. This person is polite. They are smiling. And they are saying all the right things. Your mind listens to their words and thinks, "This seems like a nice person." But deep inside, maybe in your chest or your stomach, you feel a little uncomfortable. Something just feels off. You can't explain it. There is no logical reason for your feeling, but your heart is sending you a signal, a quiet warning. That is your intuition. It's your heart sensing something that your mind has not yet processed. Many weeks later, you might learn that this person was not as honest as they seemed, and you will remember that first meeting and think to yourself, "I knew it. Something told me." That something was the voice of your heart. This voice of intuition can speak to us through our bodies in many different ways. For some people, it's a knot in the stomach, a feeling of tightness that signals something is wrong. For others, a feeling of rightness might feel like a warm, expansive sensation in the chest, like something is opening up. Sometimes, the truth can arrive as goosebumps on your skin, even if you're not cold. It's your body's way of saying, "Pay attention. This is important." A decision that is aligned with your heart's truth might make you feel physically lighter, as if a weight has been lifted from your shoulders. A decision that goes against your heart might make you feel heavy, tired, and drained of energy. These are not imaginary feelings. They are real, physical signals. Your body is a wise instrument, and your heart uses it to communicate with you when words and logic are not enough. Learning to listen to these subtle physical cues is a powerful way to connect with your intuition. The heart is our internal compass. It guides us in our personal relationships and our biggest life decisions. Think about why you love the people you love. Your mind could make a list. "I love my best friend because she is funny, kind, and supportive." And those reasons are true. But the real connection, the deep bond of love, comes from the heart. It's a feeling that goes beyond a list of qualities. It's a sense of connection that you can't measure or perfectly explain with words. The heart simply knows. It guides us toward people and experiences that feel right for us, that feel true to who we are, even when the path doesn't look perfect or logical from the outside. The heart is also the source of our empathy. Empathy is the ability to feel what another person is feeling. Your mind can understand a situation logically. If your friend says, "I lost my job," your mind understands the facts. But your heart is what allows you to feel the sadness and fear your friend is feeling. It's what makes you want to give them a hug, not just a list of solutions. This deep, feeling-based connection is a truth that the heart knows intimately. Now, let's talk about the other advisor, the mind. The mind is our center for thinking, logic, and reason. It's like a supercomputer inside our heads. It analyzes information, it compares options, it identifies problems, and it creates strategies to solve them. The mind is incredibly useful and absolutely necessary for navigating our complex world. When you are learning a new skill, like driving a car or cooking a new recipe, you use your mind to learn the steps and the rules. The mind loves order, clarity, and proof. It wants to understand why. It asks questions like, "What are the pros and cons?" Or, "What is the most efficient way to do this?" Let's go back to our example of choosing a job. Imagine you have two job offers. Job A offers a very high salary, great benefits, and a clear path for promotion. It is a very safe and logical choice. Job B offers less money, and the company is smaller and less known. So it feels riskier. But the work you would be doing in Job B is something you are truly passionate about. Just thinking about it makes you feel excited and alive. Here is how your two advisors would react. Your mind would immediately start analyzing Job A. It would create spreadsheets. It would calculate your future earnings. It would say, "This is the smart choice. It is secure. It makes logical sense." Your mind would look at Job B and see only the risks. It would ask, "What if the company fails? You will make less money. It is not a secure path." The mind's job is to protect you, and it does that by pointing out potential dangers and focusing on what is logical and predictable. But your heart would have a very different reaction. Your heart would feel the energy of each option. It might feel heavy and bored when thinking about Job A, even with all its benefits. But when thinking about Job B, your heart might feel light, expansive, and joyful. The heart isn't calculating your salary. It is feeling your passion. It is telling you which path aligns with your true self. So, as we can see, the heart and the mind are two very different, but equally important, parts of us. The heart is our emotional, intuitive guide. It speaks in the language of feelings and helps us connect to our deeper truths. The mind is our logical, analytical tool. It speaks in the language of reason and helps us navigate the practical world safely and effectively. Neither one is better than the other. They are simply different. The problems begin when we only listen to one and ignore the other. In the rest of our conversation today, we will explore how the heart can sometimes know the truth more deeply than the mind, and how we can learn to create a balance between these two powerful voices inside us. Now that we have a clearer idea of the difference between the heart and the mind, let's dive deeper into the special wisdom of the heart. How does the heart know the truth? This is a beautiful mystery, but it is something that people all over the world and throughout history have experienced. It is the power of intuition, that quiet voice inside that guides us toward what is right for us. The heart knows truth not through thinking, but through feeling. It has a direct connection to our deepest self, our values, and our desires. It doesn't get confused by outside opinions or societal pressures in the same way the mind does. The mind is always collecting information from the world around us, from our parents, our teachers, the news, our friends. It tries to build a logical picture of how the world works and what we should do. But the heart's wisdom comes from within. It speaks a simpler, more personal truth. Let's explore this with a story. Think about a young woman named Clara. Clara grew up in a small, quiet town in the American Midwest. Everyone in her family and all her friends were happy to stay in that town forever. It was a good, safe life. Clara went to college and got a degree in accounting. Her mind told her this was a perfect plan. There was a good accounting firm in her town. She could get a job there, buy a house, and live a comfortable life, just like everyone else. Logically, it made perfect sense. Her mind had a clear, safe plan. But every time Clara thought about this plan, her heart felt heavy, like a stone was sitting in her chest. She couldn't explain it. When she looked out at the flat fields of her town, she felt a sense of being trapped. At night, she would look at pictures of big, bustling cities like New York or Chicago, and when she saw those pictures, her heart would feel a spark of excitement, a feeling of possibility, of energy, of life. She had never even visited those cities, but her heart was telling her, "That is where you belong." Her mind, of course, fought against this feeling. Her mind said, "That's crazy. You don't know anyone there. It's expensive. It's dangerous. You have a safe path right here. Don't be foolish." Her mind was trying to protect her based on the information it had, but her heart kept whispering a different truth. The heart's truth was not about safety or logic. It was about aliveness. It knew that for Clara to be truly happy, she needed to be in a place that matched her inner energy. This is a perfect example of how the heart knows our personal truth. The mind can create a plan that is perfect for a person, but the heart knows what is perfect for you. It knows what will make your spirit feel alive, and what will make it feel dull. The heart also knows the truth in relationships, particularly in knowing what feels authentic. Let's think about a man named Ben. Ben was dating a woman who everyone thought was perfect for him. She was beautiful, successful, and very smart. On paper, she was the perfect partner. Ben's mind agreed. His mind made a list of all her amazing qualities. He told himself, "I should be happy. This is a perfect relationship." But whenever he was with her, he felt a strange sense of distance. He felt like he couldn't be his true self. He had to pretend to be more serious or more ambitious than he really was. His heart felt lonely, even when he was sitting right next to her. His heart knew the truth, that this connection was not authentic. An authentic connection is one where you feel seen and accepted for who you truly are. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real. Ben's mind was focused on the outside appearance of the relationship, but his heart was feeling the inner reality. After many months of confusion, Ben found the courage to end the relationship. It was a difficult decision, and his mind told him he was making a huge mistake. But the moment he did it, his heart felt a sense of relief and peace. He was finally honoring his true feelings. His heart knew that it is better to be alone than to be with someone who makes you feel lonely. The heart's wisdom is also crucial in the creative process. Think about a songwriter named Sarah. She could study music theory with her mind for years. Her mind could learn every rule about chord progressions, harmony, and rhythm. She could logically construct a song that was technically perfect. It would follow all the rules, but it would have no feeling, no soul. The best songs come when a writer listens to their heart. Sarah might be playing her guitar, and suddenly, a melody appears in her mind. It doesn't come from a logical place. It feels like a gift. Her heart recognizes it. Yes, her heart says, "That's it. That's the feeling I want to express." The mind can then come in to help structure the song and write the lyrics. But the core truth of the song, the emotion, the melody, comes from a place beyond logic. It comes from the heart. This kind of heart knowledge also helps us protect ourselves. Your intuition is a powerful, internal security system. Think about walking down a street at night. You might be walking down a street that your mind knows is perfectly safe. The crime statistics are low. It's a good neighborhood. But suddenly, your heart starts beating a little faster. You get a feeling that you should cross to the other side of the street. There is no logical reason for this. You don't see anything dangerous, but you listen to that feeling. You cross the street, and maybe nothing happens. But maybe, by listening to that feeling, you avoided a problem that you never even saw. Your heart sensed a change in the energy of the environment, something your eyes and ears missed. It was looking out for you. Now, it's important to say that the heart's feelings are not always perfect. Sometimes our feelings can be confused by fear, anxiety, or past negative experiences. The feeling of fear can be very loud and demanding, but the voice of intuition, the true voice of the heart, is usually different. It is often quiet, calm, and steady. Fear often feels chaotic and urgent, saying, "Run," panic. Intuition, on the other hand, often feels like a calm, deep knowing. It doesn't shout. It whispers. Learning to tell the difference between the voice of fear and the voice of intuition is a skill we can develop over time by paying attention. So, when we say the heart knows the truth, we are talking about this deep, quiet, intuitive knowing. It's a truth that is felt, not thought. It connects us to our authentic self, guides our relationships, and helps keep us safe. The mind builds its understanding of truth from the outside world, using bricks of logic and facts. The heart builds its understanding of truth from the inside world, using the invisible energy of feeling and connection. In the next part, we will look more closely at the mind and see why, despite its brilliance, it sometimes struggles to understand the deep truths the heart knows so easily. We've talked about the beautiful, intuitive wisdom of the heart. Now, let's turn our attention to the mind. The mind is a magnificent and powerful part of who we are. It's what allows us to learn languages, to invent technology, to build cities, and to understand the complex laws of science. We should have great respect for the abilities of our minds. The mind approaches truth like a detective. It looks for clues, for evidence, for facts. It wants to build a case that is logical and can be proven. But this very strength can also be its biggest limitation. The mind's primary goal is to make sense of the world and to keep us safe. It does this by creating a mental map of reality based on our past experiences and the information we've learned. It creates boxes and categories for everything. This is good. This is bad. This is safe. This is dangerous. This process helps us make quick decisions in our daily lives, but life is not always so simple. Life is full of color, nuance, and situations that don't fit neatly into the mind's boxes. This is where the mind can start to struggle. One of the main ways the mind can block us from the truth is through overthinking. Overthinking happens when the mind takes a simple problem and analyzes it again, and again, and again, until it becomes a huge, complicated mess. Let's imagine a situation. Let's say you have been invited to a party. Your heart feels a simple emotion. Yay, a party! That sounds fun. But then, the mind takes over. The mind starts asking questions. What should I wear? If I wear the blue shirt, people might think I'm not formal enough. But if I wear the black shirt, people might think I'm too serious. And who will be at the party? Will I know anyone? What if I don't know anyone, and I have to stand in a corner by myself? What should I talk about? I'm not very good at small talk. Maybe I should just stay home. But if I stay home, my friend will be disappointed. But if I go, I might have a terrible time. Do you see what happened? The mind took a simple, joyful possibility and turned it into a source of stress and anxiety. This is what we call analysis paralysis. The mind analyzes a situation so much that you become paralyzed. You are unable to make a decision or take action. While the mind is spinning in circles trying to find the perfect, logical answer to an emotional situation, it completely misses the simple truth the heart knew from the very beginning. A party could be fun. The mind's desire for certainty can often steal our joy and our spontaneity. Another key characteristic of the mind is its attachment to the past and the future. The mind rarely lives in the present moment. It is usually either replaying memories from the past or creating anxieties about the future. For example, imagine a man named Tom who has an opportunity to ask a woman he likes on a date. His heart, which lives in the present, feels an authentic connection to this person and a simple desire to get to know her better. But his mind immediately travels to the past. It remembers a time in high school when he was rejected, and it brings back all the feelings of embarrassment and shame from that old experience. Then, his mind jumps to the future. It creates imaginary scenarios of what might go wrong. What if she says no? What if we go on a date and I say something stupid? What if she doesn't like me? His mind is using evidence from a painful past to create a fearful future. Because of this, Tom might decide not to ask her out, even though his heart is telling him to. He misses a present opportunity because his mind is trapped in the past and the future. The heart, on the other hand, knows the truth of the present moment. It feels the connection. Now, the mind also struggles with truth, is its deep need to be right and to follow the rules it has learned from society. As we grow up, our minds absorb countless rules from the world around us. In American culture, for example, the mind learns rules like success means having a lot of money and a big house. You should always be busy and productive. Resting is lazy. You have to be the best. Our minds can also be heavily influenced by what we see on social media, creating a fear of missing out, or FOMO. The mind sees pictures of other people's seemingly perfect lives and concludes, logically, I should be doing that too, to be happy. Let's go back to our story of Michael, the aspiring artist who got a high-paying office job offer. His heart knew his truth was in painting, but his mind was full of society's rules. His mind said, being an artist is not a real job. You can't make a stable living. People will think you are irresponsible. A successful person has a steady job with benefits. You should take the office job. The mind is very concerned with the word should. It is always comparing our reality to an external set of rules and expectations. This is a huge problem, because the deepest truths of our lives are often unique to us. Your path is not my path. What makes your heart sing might be completely different from what makes your neighbor's heart sing. But the mind doesn't easily understand this. It tries to apply a one-size-fits-all logic to every life. And when we listen only to our mind, we can end up living a life that looks perfect on the outside, a life that follows all the rules, but feels empty and false on the inside. we end up living someone else's version of a good life instead of our own. Finally, the mind tries to understand everything through language and logic, but some of the most profound truths in life exist beyond words. Think about the feeling of watching a beautiful sunset. Your mind can describe it. It can say, "The sun is a star. The colors are caused by the scattering of light through the atmosphere." The mind can give you the scientific facts. But can the mind explain the feeling of peace and wonder that fills your heart in that moment? Can it explain why that sight can sometimes bring tears to your eyes? Or think about the experience of listening to a powerful piece of music. The mind can analyze the chord progressions and the rhythm, but it cannot explain the deep emotion that the music awakens inside of you. These experiences, love, beauty, connection, awe, are the territory of the heart. The mind can only stand at the edge and try to describe them. The heart can dive right in and experience them directly. So, the mind is not our enemy. Its logical abilities are a gift, but we must understand its limitations. It can get stuck in loops of overthinking. It can get trapped by the past and future. It can be too focused on external rules and what other people think. And it struggles to grasp the truths that cannot be measured, proven, or explained with words. When we try to solve a heart problem with a mind solution, we often end up feeling frustrated and disconnected. It's like trying to catch water with a fork. The tool is simply not designed for the task. Understanding this helps us see that we need another kind of wisdom, the wisdom of the heart, to live a full and authentic life. So far, we have explored the two powerful advisors inside us, the feeling heart and the thinking mind. We have seen that the heart often knows our deep, personal truth, while the mind provides the logic and structure to navigate the world. This can sound like they are in a constant battle, the heart versus the mind. But the secret to a wise and happy life is not to choose one over the other. The secret is to help them work together. It's about creating a balance, a beautiful dance between feeling and reason. Imagine you are the captain of a ship. Your heart is the compass. The compass always points north. It always shows you your true direction, your destination. It tells you where you ultimately want to go. Your mind is the map, the weather report, and the steering wheel. The mind reads the weather. It charts the safest course around the storms and dangerous rocks, and it manages the sails to catch the wind. What would happen if you only used the compass? You would know your destination, but you might sail directly into a storm or crash into an island because you weren't paying attention to the practical details. You would be following your passion with no plan. And what would happen if you only used the map and the steering wheel, but ignored the compass? You could sail very safely and efficiently, but you might just end up going in circles, or arriving at a destination you never wanted to be in. You would have a perfect plan that leads you nowhere meaningful. To complete a successful journey, a captain needs both the compass and the map. You need your heart and your mind working in harmony. So how do we practice this in our real lives? How do we create this balance? The first step is to learn to listen to both voices. Our modern world, especially in places like the USA, often celebrates the mind more than the heart. We are trained to be logical, to make pros and cons lists, and to base our decisions on data. Because of this, the voice of the mind is often very loud, while the voice of the heart can be a quiet whisper. So, we must first practice getting quiet enough to even hear what our heart is saying. A crucial part of finding this balance is learning to tell the difference between the voice of true intuition and the voice of fear. Both can be strong, but they feel very different. Fear is often loud, chaotic, and insistent. It feels like a bully. It often uses catastrophic what-if language. What if you fail and everyone laughs at you? What if you end up broke and alone? Fear makes your body feel tense and constricted. The voice of true intuition, however, is usually quiet, calm, and persistent. It doesn't scream, it steadily whispers. It doesn't feel like a threat. It feels like a simple, clear knowing. It might not even have reasons. It just feels true. Listening to intuition often makes your body feel more open and relaxed, even if the decision itself is scary. Learning to notice this difference in feeling is a practice that takes time. But it is one of the most important skills in building self-trust. Let's explore a practical exercise for finding balance. We can call it the Inner Dialogue Journal. This is something you can do with a pen and paper whenever you face a confusing decision. Step 1. Define the question. At the top of the page, write down the decision you are facing in the form of a simple question. For example, should I accept the new job offer in a different city? Step 2. Listen to the heart. On the first half of the page, write the heading, My Heart's Voice. Now, for 5 to 10 minutes, just write freely. Don't think logically. Try to connect with your feelings. Write down any emotions, sensations, images, or memories that come to mind when you think about the decision. You might write things like, the new city feels exciting and full of light. I feel a sense of expansion in my chest. But I also feel a sad ache when I think of leaving my friends. I feel scared of being lonely. The work itself makes me feel inspired and creative. Don't judge anything you write. Just let the feelings flow onto the page. Step 3. Listen to the mind. On the second half of the page, write the heading, My Mind's Voice. Now, switch gears. For the next 10 minutes, let your logical mind take over. Make lists. Write down the pros and cons. Ask practical questions. You might write, Pro. The salary is 20% higher. Con. The cost of living is higher too. Pro. It's a great career opportunity. Con. I will have to sell my house. Question. How will I find a new apartment? Plan. I need to research neighborhoods and create a budget. This is where the mind shines, in organizing the practical details. Step 4. Create the dialogue. On a new page, imagine your heart and your mind are two characters sitting at a table, having a conversation. Write it out like a script. It might look something like this. Mind. We can't just move. It's not logical. We have no plan. Heart. But it feels like a real adventure, a chance to grow. Mind. Adventures don't pay the bills. The new city is expensive. We could fail. Heart. I know there are risks, and that's scary. But I feel like I'm dying a little bit here. I feel so bored and uninspired. Mind. Okay. I understand the feeling of boredom, but my job is to keep us safe. If we are going to do this, I need a clear, step-by-step plan. Heart, thank you. I need your help to make this dream a reality. Can you help me figure out the steps? Step 5. Find the synthesis. After writing the dialogue, look for a path forward that honors both voices. The goal is a yes, and solution. Yes, I will honor my heart's desire for this new adventure, and I will use my mind's wisdom to create a safe and practical plan to make it happen. In your journal, write a final summary statement that reflects this balanced approach. This journaling practice can turn an internal war into a productive conversation. It helps you see that your heart and mind are not enemies, but partners. They just have different jobs. By giving each a voice, you can find a solution that is both inspiring and intelligent. Let's revisit the story of Clara, the woman from the small town who dreamed of moving to a big city. Her heart was the compass, pointing her toward the city with a feeling of excitement and aliveness. If she had only listened to her heart, she might have impulsively packed a bag and left with no money and no plan, which could have been very difficult. Her mind was the map, pointing out all the potential dangers, the cost, finding a job, finding a place to live. If she had only listened to her mind, the fear and the overwhelming number of problems would have kept her stuck in her small town forever. Clara found balance. She honored her heart's desire. She said to herself, "This feeling is real. This is my true direction." But she also honored her mind's concerns. She said, "My mind is right to be cautious. I need a plan." So, she used her logical mind to serve her heart's dream. She started saving money. She researched neighborhoods online. She sent her resume to companies in the city. She created a step-by-step plan. It took her a year, but she did it. She moved to the city not impulsively and not fearfully, but with a plan that was inspired by her heart and executed by her mind. That is the dance of balance. When you practice listening to both your heart and your mind, you start to build a relationship of trust with yourself. You learn that your feelings are valid guides and that your thoughts are useful tools. You stop seeing them as enemies at war and start seeing them as partners on the same team. Your team. The goal isn't for the mind to win or the heart to win. The goal is for you to live a life that is both meaningful and well-managed, a life that is both passionate and practical. And that beautiful life is found in the balance between the two. We've talked a lot about the theory of the heart and the mind. Now, let's make it even more real. Let's walk through some detailed stories of everyday people who face this inner conflict and learn to listen to the truth in their hearts. These stories show how this big idea plays out in the real-life decisions that shape our lives. Let's start with the story of Ben, the accountant who dreamed of being a woodworker. Ben was 45 years old. For over 20 years, he had worked at the same accounting firm. He was good at his job. He was respected. He made good money, and he provided a comfortable life for his wife, Sarah, and their 2 children. From the outside, he was the very picture of American success. His mind was very satisfied with this life. His mind said, "Look at what you've built. A safe house, a stable income, a secure future for your family. This is what a responsible man does." But Ben's heart was slowly dying. Every morning when his alarm clock went off, he felt a heavy dread in his stomach. The bright numbers on his computer screen felt gray and lifeless. He felt like a robot, going through the motions of a life that wasn't his. His only joy came on the weekends, when he would go into his garage and work with wood. He loved the smell of sawdust, the feel of the grain under his fingers, the challenge of turning a rough piece of lumber into a beautiful, functional piece of furniture. In his garage, with his tools, his heart felt alive. It felt creative and peaceful. His heart whispered to him, This is who you really are." For years, he ignored that whisper. His mind was too loud, too powerful. His mind filled him with fear. Quit your job? Are you insane? You have a mortgage to pay, kids to send to college. Woodworking is a hobby, not a career. You will fail, and you will ruin your family's life. The mind's fears were so logical, so practical, that Ben believed them completely. But the feeling of emptiness grew stronger and stronger, until he couldn't ignore it anymore. He started feeling sick. He couldn't sleep. His heart was screaming so loudly for attention that his body was starting to react. One evening, his wife Sarah found him just sitting in his dark garage, staring at a half-finished table. She sat down next to him on a stool. "What's wrong?" "Ben?" she asked softly, and he finally broke down and told her everything. He told her he felt like a fraud, living a life that wasn't true. He was terrified she would think he was crazy or selfish. He finished, his voice cracking. "I feel like I'm letting everyone down." This is where the balance begins. Sarah, instead of reacting with her own fear, listened with her heart. She saw his pain. She put her hand on his. "You're not letting me down," she said. "But seeing you this unhappy, that's what hurts. Your heart is hurting, and we need to listen to it. But my mind is also scared. So let's use our minds together to make a safe plan." They didn't make an impulsive decision. For the next year, they lived very carefully. They created a strict budget and saved every extra dollar. Ben spent his evenings and weekends not just building furniture, but also building a business plan. He researched the market. He created a website to show his work. He started selling a few pieces to friends and neighbors. He used his logical mind, the same mind that made him a good accountant, to build a bridge from his old life to his new one. Finally, the day came when he had enough savings and a small list of customers. With a heart full of both fear and excitement, he quit his accounting job. The first few years were not easy. There were times when his mind screamed, "I told you this was a mistake." But his heart was finally at peace. Waking up in the morning felt joyful. Today, Ben has a successful small business creating custom furniture. He doesn't make as much money as he did as an accountant, but he feels like the richest man in the world. His story shows us that the heart knows our true passion, but we need the mind to help us build a practical path towards it. Now let's look at a different kind of story. One about relationships. Let's talk about Maria. Maria was engaged to a wonderful man named David. David was kind, he was handsome, he had a great job, and her parents absolutely adored him. Everyone told Maria how lucky she was. Her mind agreed. Her mind had a checklist for the perfect husband, and David ticked every single box. Logically, marrying him was the smartest decision she could ever make. But as the wedding day got closer, Maria started having panic attacks. She would wake up in the middle of the night with her heart pounding. During the day, she felt a constant, low-level anxiety that she couldn't explain. When she was with David, she found herself pretending. She pretended to be interested in his conversations about finance. She pretended to love the boring parties they went to with his colleagues. She felt like she was playing a role in a movie about her own life. Her heart was sending her a very clear, very scary message. This is not right. He is a good person, but he is not your person. Her heart knew that their souls didn't connect on a deep level. They wanted different things from life. He wanted a quiet, predictable suburban life. She secretly dreamed of traveling the world and taking risks. Their core values were different. Her mind fought this truth with all its strength. Her mind said, "You are being ungrateful and foolish. You are just having normal pre-wedding jitters. You will never find another man as good as him. If you leave him, you will break his heart and disappoint everyone. You will end up alone." The mind was using guilt and fear to force her to stick with the logical plan. One afternoon, her best friend, Jessica, found her crying in her car. "What is it?" "Maria," Jessica asked. Maria confessed everything, ending with, "There's no logical reason for how I feel. I feel so crazy." Jessica looked at her kindly and said, "Maybe the reason isn't logical. Maybe it's a heart reason. And those are real reasons too." That simple validation gave Maria the strength she needed. She realized she had to trust the feeling, even if she couldn't explain it. After weeks of sleepless nights, she found the courage to listen to her heart. She sat down with David and honestly, kindly, told him that she couldn't marry him. It was a painful, heartbreaking conversation. Her family was shocked and disappointed. For a while, Maria felt lost and alone, and her mind kept telling her she had made a terrible mistake. But slowly, a feeling of peace began to settle in her heart. For the first time in years, she felt free. She felt like herself again. A year later, she took a trip to Southeast Asia by herself, something she had always dreamed of doing. She started living a life that was true to her own spirit. She eventually met someone else, a man who wasn't as perfect on paper, but who shared her love for adventure, and with whom she could be her complete, authentic self. Maria's story teaches us that the heart knows the truth about connection, and sometimes the bravest thing we can do is listen to it, even if it means disappointing others and walking away from a situation that looks perfect from the outside. Finally, let's consider a story about health, a situation where the mind and heart must work very closely together. Let's talk about a woman named Carol, a 55-year-old teacher. Carol was diagnosed with a serious illness. The doctors, representing the voice of pure logic and science, immediately recommended an aggressive treatment plan. They showed her statistics, charts, and medical studies. Her mind understood this completely. The mind's voice said, "This is science. These doctors are experts. This is the only logical path to get better. You must do exactly what they say." And Carol agreed. She trusted science and her doctors. She began the treatment. But as she went through it, her body felt terrible, and her heart felt a deep sense of unease. It wasn't just the side effects. It was a deeper feeling, an intuition that told her, this is only part of the answer. Her heart whispered that she also needed to heal her spirit, to reduce her stress, and to nourish her body in a different way. Her logical mind resisted this. Her mind said, "Don't be silly. That's not scientific. Stick to the proven plan." But the feeling from her heart was persistent. So, Carol decided to find a balance. She told her doctors, "I will absolutely continue with the medical treatment you have prescribed. I trust you. But I also need to listen to my own body." She used her mind to do extensive research. She read scientific studies about the connection between stress and health, and about the benefits of nutrition and gentle exercise like yoga during treatment. She started a daily meditation practice to calm her mind. She changed her diet to include more whole, nourishing foods. She spent more time in nature. She was not rejecting the mind's solution. She was adding the heart's wisdom to it. She was treating her whole self, her body, mind, and spirit. Her doctors were skeptical at first, but they were amazed at how well she handled the treatment. Her recovery was faster than they expected. Carol's story teaches us a profound lesson. The mind, through science and logic, can provide powerful tools for healing. But the heart knows the truth that we are more than just a physical body. True health comes from a balance, from combining the best of modern medicine with the deep, intuitive wisdom of our own hearts and bodies. These stories show us that listening to our heart isn't always easy. It often requires immense courage. It asks us to disappoint people, to take risks, and to walk into the unknown. But they also show us that the reward for listening is a life of authenticity, joy, and peace, a life that feels true from the inside out. As we bring our long and thoughtful conversation to a close today, let's take a moment to gather all the important ideas we have discussed. We began this journey together by exploring the simple but profound idea that the heart often knows the truth better than the mind. We learned that this isn't about ignoring our ability to think logically, or suggesting that feelings are always right and thoughts are always wrong. Instead, it's a call for integration. It's about recognizing that we have two powerful systems of wisdom within us: the feeling heart and the thinking mind, and a full, wise, and happy life requires listening to both. We talked about the heart as the source of our emotions, our passions, and that mysterious and wonderful thing called intuition. The heart speaks to us in feelings, in gut sensations, in a quiet inner knowing. It is our internal compass, always pointing us toward our most authentic life, toward genuine connection, and toward the experiences that will make our spirit feel truly alive. It communicates the truth of who we are and what we deeply desire, a truth that often exists before we have the words to explain it. Then, we explored the mind. We celebrated the mind as an incredible tool for analysis, planning, and problem-solving. The mind is our protector, our strategist. It helps us navigate the complexities of the world in a safe and practical way. But we also saw its limitations. We saw how the mind can get trapped in cycles of overthinking and analysis paralysis. We saw how it can become a prisoner of past pains and future anxieties, and how it can be heavily influenced by the external rules and expectations of society. Its biggest struggle is with the truths that cannot be logically proven, the truths of love, beauty, and purpose. The most important part of our journey was discovering the concept of balance. We learned that the goal is not a battle of heart versus mind, but a partnership, a beautiful dance. We imagined ourselves as the captain of a ship, using the heart as our compass to set the destination, and the mind as our map to chart the course. We explored practical tools, like the Inner Dialogue Journal, to help us facilitate this conversation between our two inner advisors. By learning to check in with both our feelings and our thoughts, we can make decisions that are not only practical and smart, but also deeply fulfilling and true to our unique spirit. Through stories of people like Clara, Ben, Maria, and Carol, we saw this principle in action. We saw the courage it takes to listen to the heart, and the wisdom it takes to use the mind to build a path toward the heart's desires. Now, I want to connect this all back to you and your journey of learning English. This process of learning a new language is a perfect example of the heart and mind working together. Your mind is essential. Your mind learns the grammar rules. It memorizes vocabulary. It understands the structure of sentences. Without your mind, you could not learn the building blocks of the language. It provides the map. But to truly become fluent, to speak with confidence, and to connect with others, you also need your heart. Your heart is what gives you the courage to speak, even when you are afraid of making mistakes. Your heart is what allows you to feel the rhythm and music of the language, not just see the words on a page. Your heart is what helps you express your true personality, your humor, and your emotions in a new language. When you can laugh and show kindness in English, you are speaking from the heart. Just as you learn to trust the balance between your head and heart in life decisions, you can learn to trust your language instincts. Sometimes you will feel that a sentence sounds right, even if you can't remember the exact grammar rule. That is your language heart, your intuition, growing stronger. Trust that feeling. So, as you continue your studies, remember to honor both. Study the grammar with your mind, but also listen to English music. Watch movies that touch your emotions, and try to have real conversations with people where you share not just information, but feelings. Allow your heart to fall in love with the language. When you combine the logic of the mind with the passion of the heart, your progress in English will become faster, more joyful, and much more meaningful. Thank you so much for joining me today here at English in Fluency. It has been a pleasure to share these ideas with you. I hope this conversation has given you some valuable food for thought, and I hope it has helped you practice and improve your English listening skills. I encourage you to take one small step this week. The next time you have a small choice to make, practice listening. Ask your heart how it feels. Ask your mind what it thinks. See if you can find a balanced answer. I truly believe that learning a language is one of the best ways to open both our minds and our hearts. If you found this conversation helpful, and you want more lessons like this to help you think deeply and improve your English, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, English in Fluency. And don't forget to click that little bell icon, a notification bell, so you won't miss our next episode together. Your support helps us create more content for wonderful learners like you, all over the world. Remember to be kind to yourself. Trust the quiet voice within you. You are wiser than you think. Thank you again for listening. I'm Alex, and I look forward to our next episode together. Goodbye for now.